Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Isaac Rhythm Arredondo,
And I am Devin TheDoc O'Connor.
and we are back with more Miami League of Legends action. Tonight, the 3-1 Miami University Redhawks are seeking their revenge against the reigning ESC champions and currently undefeated 3-0 Ball State Cardinals. You may remember that last year, Ball State in the regular season was the only team to take a series off of these Redhawks, so they're looking for some vengeance tonight. Devin, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I think you gave them a pretty good introduction. This is a team to not be underestimated. They are incredibly strong. They lost a few key players, similar to Miami in
Mm-hmm.
the off season in between last year and now, but they are still a force to be reckoned with. And I think now for Miami, I think this is the perfect time to strike because both teams probably figuring out the new dynamic with some new faces. So I
Mm-hmm.
think Miami definitely. If they're gonna make a statement here tonight, I think this is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, I think a win here for the Redhawks would send shockwaves across the ESC conference. However, Ball State did go to Game 3 with Kent State, so it looks like we might have another pretty good team here in the ESC in
Yeah,
Kent State.
it seems like momentum has shifted a lot from where we were last season. I think a lot of teams are making a lot of moves, and I like to see that. I think it shakes things up. There isn't one top dog maybe
Mm-hmm.
anymore, which I think is great. It definitely helps keep people invested, and I like it. I like when there's shakeups. So this is definitely something I'm going to be looking forward to. I'm going to be following that pretty closely throughout this season. And yeah, I think I'm excited for Miami's chances. I think we've seen a lot out of this team so far in terms of being flexible, and then we've also seen a lot of growth. I feel like
Yeah.
I was not able to join you guys for the last stream, but I did watch from home, and I was really encouraged. I think a lot of their game mechanics, their micro, their macro has looked a lot more polished, and I'm just really encouraged with what I've been seeing.
Yeah, there are a few hiccups last week from the Redhawks in terms of macro overall. Like, I remember one of their Barons in one of the game, they just kind of wasted it. But draft philosophy has gotten way better. We keep harping on this, but week one, game one, they were just kind of picking whatever.
Mm.
It was a mess. There was no
Yeah.
synergy whatsoever. And then last week they opened up with this Oriana Wukong combo, and it worked out great.
Yeah, that's a pro league comp that we like to see. Definitely more of a fan of those control mages in the mid lane with the synergy with the jungle. And yeah, I think draft, and it always starts with the draft. Those little things that come with playing Clean League of Legends definitely come with time.
Mm-hmm.
But the draft is when you get to a higher and higher level, essentially what will decide the game
Right.
for a lot of these matches. So I think refining that and getting that to a better spot is definitely going to be the most impactful thing that you can do early on, and it really will start to show in the games that we see being played.
That's right. And Devin, you kind of mentioned some of these. They had some changes in the roster. So going from the top to bottom, Ball State is bringing out Jazz Goblin in the top
I
lane.
like that name.
We have BLG Bin, not actually BLG Bin,
Oh
but he goes
yeah.
by BLG Bin in the jungle. We have Wombat Baby in the mid lane, a familiar name from last year, as well as Ali Plane, their AD carry, their challenger AD carry
Yeah,
player.
don't let that uh miss you. That is 1,000 LP challenger
Yes,
player.
that
This
is
is
a top 200 player in
yeah.
North America. That is a very good AD carry. And then their support, Peppy.
Pepe. Okay. So, a personal favorite player of mine, even though he was so incredibly dominant against us last year, was Quaka,
Oh my
the
gosh,
former
that guy's
support.
pike was
He
unreal.
was just a monster. So he is probably. I mean, I feel like I can say outside of Miami, the team members that we had on our roster, the best player I've ever witnessed.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
in this league of ours. So shame to see that he is not. I mean, I'm kind of a little happy because he was
Relieved, yeah.
terrorizing the league, but it is he was so incredible and so much fun to watch. So it's a little bit I'm a little bit it's bittersweet for
Yeah,
me because I'm glad that we don't have to deal with that guy. He was a menace, but he was so much fun, and I'm a little sad that we won't be seeing him in the playoffs come the end of this season.
but remember, I mean, this team's still undefeated so far, 3-0. They've had some good games, but of course, tonight the Redhawks are bringing in the usual five that you have come to know and love. We have Kins Egoist Nakazawa in the top lane, Youngjin X Lu in the jungle, Jack WGFY Lee in the mid lane. Christian Solazak Tarzia as the AD carry, and Jen Beans Liu as the support.
Yeah, Bean's ready to make some moves. We saw a lot of good things, a lot of unique picks. I'm thinking back to the Janna.
Yeah, that Janna was crazy.
Yeah, it silenced all the doubters. You know, I definitely like to see more of those hidden pocket picks if we have those. I mean, if there's a time to use them, it's tonight. This team, like especially in the bot lane, as you mentioned, is a force to be reckoned with. So, you know, doing any little things to try and get the upper hand is going to be huge. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I'm optimistic for Miami's chances. I think that we haven't shown all our cards. I think we probably still have plenty more surprises on the table.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what we can do.
Yeah, these are two very powerful teams with a lot of strong players, so it should be a very good matchup tonight. However, Devin and I, it's getting a little bit late. It's time to get our brains awake.
Yes.
Let's go do the Luldle as we normally do.
I need that. You know, and we need to improve from what we saw. I mean, the Draven incident. I don't like to bring it up, but you know, I'm remiss to talk about it because I mean, I don't think the clip has found its way to Ball State yet.
I hope they never see it.
I know,
I hope they never see it.
That was a moment of weakness. So that was a little unfortunate, but we're gonna start it off and do it quick because it seems like we draft might be coming soon.
Okay, we'll just go Ash.
We got to start that.
Always start an Ash.
It's not the optimal start, but it's the emotional one. It's what my heart says.
ASA. Always start Ash. This is pretty good information. So a male bottom laner that is not a human. Male bottom laner that is not a human. Wait, I'm an AD carry player.
Oh yeah,
we have Aphelios is technically
he's a human,
but he's like
he's a human.
He's Targon though.
No,
he's like technically not human.
He's a human.
Male. Jin's a human, unfortunately.
Is there any Yordles? No, it's Tristana.
No, Tristana's a female. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on all my AD carries ever.
Varus.
There's Lucio. There's Twitch.
Twitch is a good guess. Yeah, I feel like we got lock at.
Let's see.
Show me Twitch, prod.
Yeah, we'll go Twitch here while I continue to think.
I feel like we just two-shot.
There's also Kog'Maw.
Oh, yeah, Kog'Maw.
There's also
Kog'Maw.
There's also Kog'Maw.
Lock it.
Well, no, wait. What is Kog'Maw like a male though?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go Kog'Maw.
Kog'Maw.
Nice. There it is. There it is. Bang!
All right. Ball State beat that. On to the quote. Well, if they're watching, that means they got the answer.
Turbo on. Oh, whoa. That's definitely Rumble. That's got to be Rumble.
Yes.
That is 1000% Rumble.
Turbo on. I think. That sounds like his Super Galaxy skin.
Turbo on. Let's see. Ooh.
Ew.
What is that?
It looks like Vlad, but I don't. It's gooey.
Is it rotated? I can't tell.
I feel like I see like
a
person in the goo.
I can go.
I think it's either Varus or Vlad.
Oh, I think it's Varus. I think it's piercing. It might be piercing arrow.
Let's just
actually,
try Varus.
No, it's not piercing arrow, but it might be Varus still.
I want to try Varus, but
it could
I think
be
it's
Chains
probably
of Corruption.
Varus or Vlad. I think it's Vlad.
We'll go Vlad.
That looks like blood to me.
I don't know if it's Vlad's.
Oh, Vlad's
are just like all red. Yeah.
Oh god, that's embarrassing.
Oh gosh, I don't know who this is.
What is that thing?
Is this a Void champion? No,
it's red.
Is it a crystal?
I don't know. It's like a guy in the red.
Prod, could we possibly get a zoom in on this?
No, that's cheating.
No, just like they bring the picture closer to us so we can see it better.
But that's like a person in there.
That does look like a person. Is it a slow? Is it a slowing ability? It looks like an older.
Whoa.
It looks like an older ability that is used to slow.
It looks
maybe
like
from a Void champion.
A gooey thing.
I don't know. I don't know this one.
That looks like blood. And it looks like a ninja in there. Wait, is this Zed? No, it's not Zed. Because his are like
it could be. It could be Zed passive.
Honestly, it could be Zed.
It could be Zed passive.
His are that color. Let's try Zed.
We are getting word that Miami is starting blue side in this game. So blue side, that will influence draft a little bit.
That could be Zed's ult.
We'll go Zed. I'm actually really good about the Zed here.
I see him in the silhouette.
I see a ninja.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know it. I don't know it. LeBlanc.
No.
Who's purple? It's not LeBlanc.
But there's like goo. Who's gooey, but it's red goo?
I don't know. I do play this game actually. That's a complete lie if I say I don't. I play this game too much. Arguably not enough though. I'm looking at the background. It's not Nocturne. It's not Ari.
Shame.
Prod, what's your guess? You can put it in.
Yeah, Prod, come on. White flag.
It's not Nila though, Prod. I'll tell you that
Yeah,
much.
he has a bit of a Nila disposition. Okay, Prod does not have a clue.
Prod's also lost. This is a good one. This is a
This is
stumper
tough. I
today.
mean, I feel like we've just gotten worse.
Maybe
We're
if it's
probably
like
just rusty.
maybe if it's like hands or like what?
No,
Who is
it's
a
like
red champion? Who
gooey.
is a red champion? We got to stick to our basics.
Like
red champions.
Katarina is red, but that's not gonna.
Brand is red.
Brand, but that's not fire.
It's not Pantheon. It's not Poppy. It's not Pike.
I'm thinking junglers. Junglers and mid laners from this.
Oh my god! Wait, Prod, can we start cycling through the letters?
Can we zoom in?
Can we start with Q and start cycling through? It's not Warwick.
No, it's not.
It's not Gallia.
But
it's
like,
not
who's
Oriana.
like bloody? It's like blood.
It's
There's
not
no
Xerath.
more Chemomancers.
It's not Morgana. It's not Kale. It's not an AD carry. I know that. I've never seen that before in my life.
I think it. Yeah, I don't think it's a top laner.
It's got to be a mid laner.
Wait, it could be Shyvana. I think it's Shyvana. No, it's not.
It's not Shyvana.
It's not Shyvana.
Ooh, we are cutting away for a little bit. We are back, but Devin, going back to this game, I have no idea.
Let's talk about the game.
I have no idea what that ability could be. But Alaplane, challenger, AD carry, top 200 player in the region. How does Miami counteract this?
I think you pick something like a neutralizer, whether that be like, I think Leona's good, but I like a Nautilus. So a Nautilus, a Vi, something that can, if they try and lock in a hyper carry.
Mbessa?
That's always an option to kind of, we saw that as something that Egoist can pilot to selectively take out a member, because if they're going to play kind of a funnel comp around their AD carry, which if I was them, that's what I would
do it too. Yeah.
To enable your best player is obviously the style that you probably want to run. It's just, it's tried and true front to back team fight comp. I'd try and, put a disruptor in there from Miami's side. So maybe even a Malphite. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. That champ is iffy. But at the same time, something that can really just kind of make the ADC's life harder to not give them as much ease in these team fights, because you want something that can close gaps and to say you mean business.
So you're saying a disruptor on the top lane for something like Egoist. So when it comes to more team fighting things that they can get onto Alaplane. So in the early game, what do Solo, Zac, and Beans need to do as to not get Alaplane so far ahead in this game?
Well, I think if they play even, he's just going to play the game better. I mean, I hate to say that, but you don't get challenger for no reason, folks.
Right.
So if you just go even in lane, you don't try to make plays early on the map. It doesn't have to be in top, or it doesn't have to be in bot lane. You don't have to play through bot necessarily, but you need to get ahead somewhere so that if you go even on the bot side, you're not just kind of letting that happen and letting him scale, because you need to find a way to make an impact somewhere on the map. So objectives are huge. Obviously, that goes without saying, but maybe looking to play mid lane or top lane, because I feel like this guy's going to play really well. Even if he's behind, these players have a way of being relevant in the game no matter what. So I have a good feeling that Miami knows all of this. At least I hope so. And they know that they have to, change up their play style a little bit. This is definitely warrants a bit of a pivot. So I'm curious. So it looks like we are headed into draft now, which I am a big fan.
I'm assuming we'll see maybe a Yunara ban here. We did see that Alaplane plays that a lot. Vi is also another ban that they were looking at, and Mbessa being a takeaway from the Cardinals.
Okay, so Miami banning the Vi themselves and the Galio. It's interesting. Oh, that's strange. We're banning champs that I thought we would be playing.
Well, I was sitting in, both of us were sitting in with the players a little bit ago, so I think we know what the plan is for Miami, at least for their first pick. Maybe taking some things off to protect that pick, but we see Viego being taken off the board by the Cardinals.
Ruination prevented.
Which is something that their jungler plays a lot, actually.
Yeah, it seems like both teams are banning stuff that they might actually like to pilot themselves, which is, an interesting strategy.
I really like this Nico ban.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there, but
please.
I really like this Nico ban. I was looking through Pepe's match history. Even last week, played it against Kent State. This guy plays Nico.
Yeah, and that is a champ that is just kind of so weird, because it has so much poke in lane, but it can also serve as such a strong engage in these team fights. It can solo win a team fight if that Pop Blossom is well placed. We see the Oriana and the Talia trade. That's a pretty common one that you'll see, along with the Jarvan. So the Jarvan going to be taken away from Miami, so no ball flag and drag combo. And Jarvan does complicate things a little bit.
Absolutely, he does.
with the Ori, because if he like manages to lock his own team in some of the Ori, like we saw that with Miami earlier, where the Cataclysm is in the wrong area and you have some of your teammates in there, you can set up a multi-man shockwave on your own teammates. But we do again see this tried and true Wukong Orianna combo coming through again, just kind of a stabilizer in the jungle. Pretty even matchup so far. I think this is like a tried and true draft on both sides.
Yeah, I think if I was Miami, I mean, they seem to take a little bit in picking that Wukong. I wonder if the Jarvan was something that, they were hoping that would fall to them so they could insta-lock that, maybe take some time to talk about that Wukong. But Kai'Sa being hovered here, one of my personal favorite champions, just allows so much agency for the AD carry, Ezreal as well. But if I'm Aliplaying with Talia and Jarvan with so much terrain being made from them, could see some sneaky Vayne angles.
Yeah, I do like. Oh, hold
Oh,
on.
they'll just take the Kai'Sa.
Yeah,
Never
okay.
mind. There goes
So
that.
there's the safe hyper carry, safe mobile hyper carry that we're probably accustomed to seeing from Aliplaying, wanting to kind of dance around these fights and not and have some ability, maybe can use the killer instinct to reposition around some of these shockwaves, because we know that's going to be where they're going to be looking on that side of Miami. But yeah, I like the Ezreal pick a lot, just because it allows you to quickly reposition if there is a Jarvan kind of just trying to hop on top of you. But you do sacrifice a little bit of the same uh, consistent damage output.
Right.
With the champion. So Kai'Sa definitely going to be scaling really well into this comp. So it is going to be a priority from Miami to take the Kai'Sa down.
We do see Gwen and Alistar being taken off the board, as well as this Olaf. We saw Egoist play that Olaf last week into a Mordekaiser and just kind of ran through everyone. He was a bully.
That is a matchup that I am myself very familiar with as a former top lane main. Now I've switched to support because I don't want to play the game anymore.
Fair enough.
But that is something. If you get an Olaf ahead, it is just such a brutal.
It's tough to deal with.
He kind of just runs at you.
Yeah.
And Mordekaiser is a champion himself that can do a little bit of the bullying, but it's really who just starts off with the momentum in that scenario.
Sion, the last ban of this ban phase. So we'll see what Ball State looks to target here. They have their jungle, mid, and AD carry. Maybe a top lane, but I wonder who they're going to leave this counter pick to. They'll probably pick their support here and have their counter pick be for Jazz Goblin if I was in the seat of Ball State. But they just want to prove me wrong today, man. They really want to prove me wrong.
So and this is kind of what Miami saw coming with the Sion ban, just kind of a stable top lane to enable that front to back Cassante. Kind of annoying to deal with. Definitely less so than a Sion, but still can enable a lot of creative plays with the all out and just the sheer amount of mobility that you get. And then the Sejuani is another pick that we saw locked last week.
It was a very supportive Sejuani.
Yeah, I saw the build. I did see the build. I did my homework, and he was full build at like a crazy amount of minutes.
He was down gold the entire game, but just always had the item advantage because support items are dirt cheap.
Yeah, so Beans locking in that karma, another thing we saw last week. Those shields are nasty. So Serpent's Fang, I think, was something that we saw built, but I'm not seeing a ton of champions on the side besides the exception of the Jarvan.
Yeah, maybe the Jarvan if they really want to build it.
It's not great.
But it's not great, like you were saying. And there's the Nautilus locked in for the Cardinals.
Yeah, some more hard CC probably to just try and get on top of that super mobile Ezreal in these team fights, and just to synergize up with the Kai'Sa to have that CC for the killer instinct. But yeah, pretty stock standard draft from both sides. Let's see, maybe the only outlier is that Sejuani, but again, just kind of pretty clear on what both teams are trying to go for in terms of how they want to pilot this game. I think Ball State's draft is something that I'd expect to see out of like a pro league team. So definitely not anything too bold on this opening game. I think both teams are trying to keep the cards pretty close to their chests, and that is respectable. So yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily favor one draft or the other. I think both are pretty pretty straightforward. So I think it is going to come down to execution, and I think the jungler is going to be an X factor who can make the most happen on this map in the early game. Because I think if Ball State is left to their own devices, we know that these players are good enough. They can cause some real damage.
Yeah, I'm looking at Ball State. It seems to be like a really heavy all-in comp, with the exception of maybe that Talia, but Talia and Kai'Sa late game will be doing a lot of poke damage. Meanwhile, on the side of Miami, I mean, Karma and Ezreal, they'll just be looking to poke out Aliplaying this entire game, not let him play any part of the laning phase, excuse me. But then with the Orion Wukong combo, we saw that last week. Uh, has a lot of all-in potential, and then you can throw in the Glacial Prison over the top of that. That's a lot of hard CC coming your way.
Yeah, and I'm keeping my eyes out for Wombo Baby because these seismic shoves can be so annoying. If you make one slight misstep
Mm-hmm.
into the rocks, it could be team fight deciding. So the layering of the CC that is possible from the side of Ball State is just so good if they are able to get a pick somewhere, whether that be the Tilia through the Nautilus or the Jarvan. They have so many avenues. So Miami definitely drafting more of a poke defensive comp, but they do have those team fight go buttons if needed, using the Sejuani, using the Wukong, but got to be careful with that dash. You know, he can get stunned on those rocks.
Yeah, especially the Talia can negate the dash from the Wukong and the
Ezreal.
Sejuani and the Ezreal as
Yeah, a
well.
lot of
So
value.
the Talia does have a lot of value here. I'm wondering what build Egoist is going to go for here. I assume it's going to be that same supportive build with the Rylai's, the Bandle Pipes, things like that, but always could just play the role of the tank if needed.
Yeah, I mean, Sejuani's pretty flexible in terms of what you can build. I did like that utility build. I think it offered a lot to the team. But I think Asante also is just kind of an X factor for me, just because of the amount of damage he can do and how he can kind of disrupt things when he goes all out, can kidnap one of the members, can really just benefit from both the tanky stats and the insane damage output that he can have if he plays these fights correctly. So yeah, I mean, I think from both sides, it's pretty unique dynamic. There's no true standout right now in terms of like mismatches in a
Mm-hmm.
lane. So it really is going to come down to this execution.
Well, this is game one coming up soon. The picks are set, and we just have to wait a little bit longer. Don't go anywhere. Game one will be here before you know it. And welcome to the Rift for Game 1 between the Miami University Redhawks and the undefeated Ball State Cardinals.
I'm looking at that. I love that skin on Karma. That's Spirit Blossom.
That is the Spirit Blossom. I opened
like
that
lotus.
from a chest not too long ago. It was actually pretty sick. I was pretty excited about that.
And then that dragon Ezra, and then a base Jarvan skin. It looks like, or is that? Yeah, I think that is base Jarvan.
I think yeah, it looks like base Jarvan.
It's
Looking
not Fnatic.
at the runes here, Ego's going for Aftershock instead of, or sorry, Grasp of the Undying instead of Aftershock. Solozak choosing Press the Attack.
Both mid laners with the fleet footwork, so the nerfs to that really not getting them to avoid that rune. Still definitely a preferable option for both these laners.
And Lethal Tempo, my personal favorite rune on Alaplane over there.
Yeah, we do see the PTA coming in on the Ezreal, so for that, these extended trades definitely going to want to have that.
Solozak taking a little bit of trade here. Dredgeline going to find onto Beans. A great body block from her. Gets rooted up from the passive of the Nautilus, but some great poke in return. Alaplane already below half health and forced to use their first potion.
Mystic shots going wide, left and right, but we do see, yeah, Alaplane taking that Mantra Q to the face. Jazz Goblin getting some early push into Egoist with that level 2. And now both junglers starting their top side. Beans.
Ooh, Beans really low. Did get ignited upon. Alaplane is going to flash forward to find the kill. Solozak trying to do whatever he can to get damage in return, but some great body blocks from Peppy will dissuade that. I think Beans may have gotten hooked there again by Peppy, but unfortunate, but that's first blood over to the Cardinals.
Yeah, you got to give a lot of respect to this Nautilus early game. Once he hits that level 2, you know he's going to want to go and look for some action. So yeah, Beans getting popped there. Both summoner spells used on Peppy.
WGFY getting knocked back from Wombat Baby. Did get stunned by the terrain and is just trying to get out of there. Does get the shield, does get the movement speed, and escapes with his life, but WGFY still hanging around here.
Knows he can't drop this wave, but he might just pay with his life if he's not careful. One seismic shove off this Talia, and it could be wraps.
Yeah, there you see the earth coming out.
Unraveled Earth?
Yes, that is the ability's name. And we do know that BLG Bin, not actually BLG Bin, has been spotted on this blue buff, as Miami did have a ward there previously. It was just expiring as he walked up. So Solozak and Beans should know that something is up.
Alaplane already like impressing me with just the clicks. You can tell that this guy is locked. Hold on, seismic shove gonna land on WGFY.
WGFY taken really low, does get the shield again. That is a very powerful ability on that Orianna early in this game. But Miami taking a lot of bad trades here at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, already down 800 gold around, which is pretty scary. Only 3 minutes in, and it looks like you know, with every lane they're slowly, I mean, bot lane stabilized in terms of CS, but we do see that gold lead already coming through 400, and that's what we said. If you give any kind of breathing room to Alaplane or any of these members, they can really punish, and we see Wukong helping shove this wave in towards the mid lane. And now Miami, despite their poke comp drafted towards the spot lane, is kind of on the back foot.
Yeah, Wombat Baby forced to teleport back to lane because of the help from X. X trying to take this top side scuttle, probably will get it, but BSU does have a ward in that pixel brush there. I don't know if they spot out X here. They don't. BLG Bin just going to do his Krugs over there, as we do see Nautilus. Peppy is roaming up to pay a visit to WGFY over there.
Yeah, WGFY got to be careful, going to back off. Peppy going to be the shortest red line I've ever seen. And now more trading towards the top side.
Jazz Goblin going in onto Egos. Egos stunning him up with the passive. Does get a nice chunk of percentage health damage with that passive. And they are just going to go their separate ways, excuse me, as is top lane.
Yeah, so right now, a little bit of a CS advantage for Jazz Goblin, but pretty even with the exception of that kill that was getting over WGFY with getting hit with another one of these seismic shoves. Wombat Baby, no stranger to being the star of the show. If I remember correctly, this guy was pretty nefarious last season as well.
Yeah, WGFY, Wombat Baby finding a nice Unraveled Earth onto Beans, the seismic shove as well. As we do see Solozak did just get back to lane, trying to farm up, is almost 600 down already 5 minutes into this game. WGFY trying to do whatever he can to stabilize this lane a little bit. Has gotten a couple of unfavorable trades, but does have that, or excuse me, they do both have their flashes, so no advantage there. But now level 6 for both of these mid laners, as the dragon is the sights for both of these teams.
Yeah, first move. Oh, hold on.
Oh,
Solo kill.
solo kill. Egoist getting a kill onto Jazz Goblin in the top lane. Is X going to dash over this wall? WGFY trying to find something with the command dissonance. Does not find it. But Egoist, man, that guy's a menace.
Yeah, found something in the top lane. We didn't exactly see what happened, but Ignite going to be used for that solo kill. And it looks like he just had level advantage using his ultimate to catch Jazz Goblin. Jazz Goblin just leveling up after that TP. Solo Zach now here looking for some damage onto the Kai'Sa. Ali playing smartly, going to back off, knowing maybe something is amiss. No level 6 on this Wukong just yet.
Yeah, Ball State does have those 2 wards, or one just expired behind the Dragon Pit there, so they did see X earlier. Probably just playing the knowledge game a little bit, knowing that X was there, probably going to look for something on the bot side. So Alaplane really smartly backing off here along with Peppy, just wasting some of X's time here.
Yep, so a little bit of tempo going to be taken there for Miami's jungler, but not the end of the world. The solo kill really big, but it didn't have the same swing of gold that we saw in the bot lane. He's still up 481, nearly 500 gold is this Kai'Sa, and that is exactly who you do not want to see have a lead at this point in the game. I mean, the idea from the Ezreal and the Karma is to be as oppressive as possible in the laning phase. Giving a kill over early is definitely the opposite of what you want to see.
It's the Boots of Lucidity as the first purchase for Egoist here in the top lane. Gives a little bit of cooldown reduction so he can throw those bolas out a little bit more often. We do see X starting up on his blue buff here. Some pings going off on the bot side of your map. But I just want to point out the wards that BSU has in this bot side jungle. One just expired. But you see the 3 in the little corner in that top side, or the bottom side of the top part of the bottom river.
Triangle that they
yes.
got. Yeah.
Words are confusing.
Yeah, I like that positioning a lot. It gives them so much vision on a crucial area of the map that there's going to be a lot of action. And crucially as well, we do see Chalia has access to that Weaver's Wall now, so going to be quick to roam on any objective fights that might break out, or a potential sneaky bot lane, top lane gank. So got to keep that in mind for Miami.
Yeah, we do see Wombat Baby trying to get some vision down. X spotting that out, does have the sweeper to clear that ward too, but Jazz Goblin also opting to purchase a Cole here, playing a little bit from behind. Egoist still being a little bit oppressive as Wombat Baby trying to find the seismic shove. Doesn't, but they have 2 control wards, so they're pretty safe from any sneak attacks that the Redhawks could bring here.
Yeah, Peppy trying to find an angle, knowing that Bin is in the area, looking to maybe see if they can start a cheeky fight. Bean's in the area as well to support, and ward can be placed there. And maybe looking for a Raptor invade, gonna find it is Bin, but the Grub's going to be started in response.
Yeah, this is a great take here from the Redhawks, having advantage in the top lane. Not so much in the mid lane, but allows them to take these Grubs as BLG Bin just goes and takes X's Raptors on their turnaround. Alaplane did run up all the way to mid, only to run back.
Oh, he didn't take the Raptors yet.
Oh, he didn't take the Raptors.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought he started those up.
I don't think it'll matter too much, and maybe Bean's got to be careful here.
Beans, the Cataclysm going down, but there's the non-combo there that we were talking about earlier. The seismic shove is going to do so much damage, but that's kind of what we talked about. WGFY and X want more. X dashing in, does get the knock-up onto Peppy and Finn. Finn forced to flash, but here comes Solo Zach. X flashing in, doesn't get the second knock-up onto Peppy. The smite going to go down 4 damage. X still chasing him down. X picking up the kill. Finn doesn't want to deal with that, but as we mentioned, that is what we just talked about. The Cataclysm going down stopped the Dredge line from finding Beans, making Wombat Baby use a couple of their summoners.
I think that's hilarious. That's exactly what I had in mind. You know, the Cataclysm is a great engage option. It's so impactful in these team fights, but it can actually kind of throw your team off in certain circumstances. We saw it used against Miami. Granted, they did end up winning the game anyway, but it can be kind of goofy. Ali playing, sticking around for this, and did actually benefit, was able to pick up a couple of waves during that exchange. But yeah, we do see Ball State going a little bit deep for those Raptors. Beans had me a little shook there, but the Cataclysm, the real MVP of that fight for Miami, -1 there for WGFY.
Yeah, X doing a great job just to get in there and picking up a kill on the back end of things, tie things up 2-2. Solozak stopping Alaplane's back, excuse me. That's going to hurt the tempo a little bit here as Beans gets dredge lined again. Beans is just a magnet for these hooks. Alaplane flashing forward is going to pick up the kill. Solozak doesn't look to be in a great spot either. Flashes as well. Alaplane under tower, but Peppy is taking the aggro. It is a double kill for Alaplane.
And I mean, what I want to see out of Miami's bot lane is just. I know we said we don't want to keep the game even, but we can't have those plays go over. Just a free double kill. And Alaplane now sitting on his first item, Kraken Slayer already online. And once Kai'Sa starts getting these evolutions in, it is going to be a nightmare. And that is just, again, the worst person to have a lead in this game. And now 1.6k up on his laner. Alaplane is so accelerated.
Yeah, Alaplane, a fed Kai'Sa is not something that you want to see in this game, but Ego is still putting some pressure here in this top lane, but unfortunately doesn't get a lot of turret plates in return. Meanwhile, Jazz Goblin is going all out. Ego is just able to walk out of there, does use the Glacial Prism, in return dodges the Q3. Ego is just dancing around Jazz Goblin right now, does so much damage. I think if Ego's had some cooldowns right there that he could have taken Jazz Goblin down, but Jazz Goblin just backing out of that. Great play from Egoist.
Yeah, cause, and maybe they might look for even more Miami's jungler in the area.
X is here. I'm sure X will dive in first to take the tower aggro. He does. Gets the knockup on to Jazz, but a great unstoppable from Jazz Goblin. Just delays things a little bit as we do see WGFY taking down here in the mid lane by a tag team from Wombat Baby and Bin.
And crucially, they got that dragon on that timing too. So not only is it a 1-for-1 trade on the map, it is another dragon given over to Ball State. So not all sunshine and rainbows for Miami. A good play there in the top side, though.
A lot of pings going out in the bottom side. You do see that Jarvan and Talia are roaming down. I'm sure we'll see the wall, and there it is. It is 4 against 2 here in the bottom lane. Solozak trying to do whatever he can. Peppy taking turret aggro, but doesn't go down. That was a clean turret dive from the Cardinals.
Yeah, and just showing the ability to use that Weaver's Wall to reposition quickly and punish if the jungler shows anywhere on the other side of the map. And now Kai'Sa picking up both of those kills in that exchange, even more accelerated, now 2.5k up, as well as the Talia building up a sizable lead of her own.
That is a 5-0 Kai'Sa just 12 minutes into this game. That is bad news for the Redhawks. Meanwhile, Egoist and Jazz Goblin still just going at it. Egoist with some really fancy feet today. Does get the stun, does get the extra damage from the passive. Egoist doing a great job here in the top lane.
Yeah, and unfortunately, just given the fact that he's into a Cassante, it's kind of another story where, you know, by the nature of the pick, Cassante will find a way to be relevant and useful in this game. Wukong, though, crucially 2-0, has that Trinity Force now. A little bit of gold ahead on his laner. And that's why I wanted to see Miami just kind of slow things down, not give too much to this Kai'Sa, because now at a certain point, if they're able to protect the president in these team fight, it's going to be so hard for Miami to get, even despite their lanes or these leads in some of their lanes, be on an equal footing in these fights.
Yeah, Egoist does have the completed Rhyalized Scepter, but if we look over towards Alaplane's items, does have the completed Kraken Slayer with a pickaxe and a longsword and the Berserker's Greave. This is a really fed Kai'Sa. Meanwhile, Solozak does get hit by the Dredge line as X just dives in onto Alaplane. A great ultimate from Alaplane is going to dive onto the back line. Solozak getting taken down here. Great heads-up play from Alaplane there, but X will pick up the kill in return and does get all the shutdown gold. Meanwhile, Bin is here and will just flag and drag out of there. Meanwhile, in the picture-in-picture, you do see WGFY getting really low in a skirmish with Wombat Baby. X trying to roam up as well. WGFY taken down and does get the kill. Meanwhile, X trying to find something in return does. That is 2 shutdowns going in the way of X.
Yeah, crucially, another solo kill given over there. X just a little bit too late on that roam. I thought he actually didn't flash. I thought he was going to flash to try and get there just in time to save his mid laner. Fortunately, just a little bit too late. Does end up picking up both those shutdowns, though. Huge, up 1.7k gold now, and definitely a good target to be fed for Miami is the Wukong. Going to be super annoying to deal with. And yeah, Kai'Sa kind of stopping that stacking. Gonna let out a sigh of relief a little bit for that, but still 6-1 on this champion, almost to that Rage Blade with the second item. And like I said, this Kai'Sa is not going to be going anywhere.
Yeah, it looks like Beans and X are pathing up towards the pit to get some priority for that first Rift Herald, or the only Rift Herald rather. But Egoist, I do want to mention, has been hitting these turrets a lot. I mean, Kai'Sa does have a huge advantage here in the bot lane, almost 3k gold, but hasn't really made a huge dent in this turret. Sure, there's 2 plates left up here now, but Egoist knocking that top lane tower down to 1. If he can force Jazz Goblin out of here one more time, I'm sure that Egoist can take this tower and start looking other places on this map.
Yeah, definitely. First tower is a thing again. It does matter. You get an additional 300 gold for that achievement. Peppy in the area.
We do see X has started up that Rift Herald. Bin in the area to try and dissuade, but Egoist does have that top lane pressure. Same with WGFY, will get there faster, but instead, Ben's turning his sights onto maybe WGFY.
Yeah, can't be too cocky here, knowing that they're probably in a position where they feel a little bit more comfortable giving this over. I think they're really trying to play for this dragon stacking. That's going to be their bread and butter in order to just accelerate the safe scaling that they have towards the bottom side. They have so much bot priority right now, and maybe more action towards the mid lane. Immediate summon from the Rift Herald, not a super opportune moment. It is going to get stunned up here, hitting that cannon, but it should just get one charge off, I believe. Maybe if they hit the eye, though, it might not even get the opportunity. And wow.
Wow. What a kind of a waste of the Herald there. I don't know if the Redhawks had any vision of Ball State. Their dredge line just going a little bit short, but that Rift Herald, they took so much time taking that just to get nothing from it. No pressure at all. Egoist is in the mid lane, teleported in. WGFY finding some poke onto Peppy. It is a defense game for this dragon right now. Whoever wins this fight gets the reward. We do see Alaplane in the bottom, does have that killer instinct to dive into the battle if need be, but the Redhawks are going to start up this Chemtech Drake. We do see Ben on the top, hovering around in that bush, just playing around with the vision, but the Redhawks going to get the dragon and just going to get out of that. The Cardinals not contesting.
Yeah, benefiting from some really aggressive positioning there, just knowing they have the numbers advantage and brute forcing their way to get some vision in that banana brush. So it is going to be given over. I think still ESU feeling pretty comfortable. This Kaisa just been farming great CS on the on just gonna sitting pretty, but now maybe X looking for a play.
That's going to be first turret for the Cardinals. X is here, does have the ultimate to knock up if he can get close enough. Alaplane going through the little cove.
Knowing Jarvan's in the area, though, for the counter gank, they don't want to opt for the fight. This Kaisa is so incredibly strong.
And both teams are just going to back up. The Cardinals do get first tower, but Egoist on the top side finds one in return.
Yeah, so first tower gold, again, going to be going towards that bot side. And nearly all of the gold lead that I'm seeing on the side of Ball State is on this Kaisa, essentially 2.9k. So that is a really big deal for Ball State, given the fact that it is without a doubt probably their best player on their roster. That's exactly where you want the gold lead in this type of team comp. But at the same time, that is a double-edged sword. If Miami is able to find an angle on this Kaisa, that is a lot of their gold, a lot of their advantage erased in an instant. So that is going to be the name of the game.
To add to your point, X on the Wukong is 4-0 and does have a 2k gold lead himself over Ben. So if Wukong can find an angle onto Kaisa, onto Alaplane, like you were saying, that's just kind of all that gold lead eliminated right there. Makes it an even fight.
Yeah, definitely a mixed bag when it comes to kind of all your eggs in one basket. But I do think Egoist is definitely going to be a factor in this game. 2 items already online. We see how cheap his items are to pick up from the get-go. And the Rod of Ages stacking started towards the mid lane as well. This Talia, though.
WGFY caught out from the flag and drag and the dredge line. There is nowhere that Orianna can go. That is going to be a kill for the Cardinals as they also take this top lane tier 1.
Yeah, and every time that Ball State, well, not every time, but most of the time when they make a play, they're able to get something else on the back of that. They're really coordinated and disciplined with how they move around the map. And, you know, picking up another tower, making sure that more of that gold is funneled into the Kaisa, it is just, you know, pixel perfect from what you want to see.
Yeah, the Redhawks just trying to recuperate some of their losses here. The Cardinals have so much vision in this jungle. You see it in the Tri-Brush. You just saw it there in the Banana Brush. They also have one here. They have the Scuttle. They have the mid lane brush. They can see everything that the Redhawks are doing in this game.
Yeah, definitely vision is a huge part, especially with some of the picks that you see from Ball State, the Talia, the Nautilus. We talked about this in drafting phase, that how if they are able to get the jump on you, and they're just so easily able to take out one of the members, and then immediately they have numbers advantage. They're able to turn that, snowball that into more objectives, more gold all across the map. So Miami really having to be careful with how they move. And like you said, a lot of that gold lead now on the Wukong. So he is going to try and be their saving grace in a lot of these team fights.
Egoist trading down here with Jazz Goblin just a little bit. The Rage Blade has been completed for Alaplane. That is 2 items on this Kaisa. I think with the Blasting Wand.
Dusk and Dawn.
I think he's building towards a Gnasher's Tooth.
Really?
Gnasher's Tooth is usually what you build on.
I think
on
they
Kaisa.
pivoted now. Now it's Dusk and Dawn.
It's been a little bit, but the Cataclysm going to go on to Beans, kind of wasting that Silizak, trying to find some damage, but the Dredge line essentially, or excuse me, does hit the Ezreal. Meanwhile, X just trying to do what he can to cyclone his team out of there. That is 2 kills for the Cardinals. Really unfortunate stepping there from the Redhawks, excuse me. But Egos and Jazz Goblin still just going toe-to-toe here. Man, that Nautilus hook is like a heat-seeking missile in this game.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like with the idea of the Ezreal, you want someone that is able to be kind of flighty, like a little mosquito in these team fights, going to be able to dodge more of those skill shots. I really feel like I haven't been super impressed with the Ezreal itself. Like I feel like, and even out of the team fights that we've been seeing in the laning phase, just not really being able to land these mystic shots and some of the other skill shots that Ezreal is very much like a rhythm. You know, it's important to kind of hit the skill shots in succession. If you miss one of them, it messes up your trading pattern. So being disciplined with how you throw those out is a really big deal. And we just haven't. I mean, there was a couple moments I can think back to in the early laning phase where it looked like they may have had the damage to trade back onto alley plane in some of these moments where there was a gank. Bean's going to dodge that seismic shove there. But, missing some of those crucial skill shots on the Ezreal definitely is going to hurt.
Now, Devin, you are correct. It is the Dusk and Dawn being built on alley plane. Who am I to question your font of knowledge?
I mean, no, it did. That wasn't always the case, and now people are realizing how broken that item is.
Item's gross.
Yeah, it is really is a bit of a problem. That's something I saw in pro play with a lot of the Kaisas now. Just kind of opportune with the amount of on hit that Kaisa does. Beans in no man's land, though.
It is a game of vision here as they try to find something onto Beans. The Cataclysm going down onto Beans as well. Solozak is on the other side of the pit trying to do whatever he can. X using the Cyclone in the pit, trying to knock up some members, does secure the Drake, but I think the Redhawks just have to back up out of this one as 3 members being taken down by the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, and crucially, Drake does go down, but it's going to cost 3 members of Miami, and I don't think any members of Ball State actually fell in that fight, and they're going to turn their eyes towards Baron. With that pretty dominant showing. And yeah, I mean, alley plane, I really liked what I saw from Egoist trying to just make sure Kaisa was less of a factor in that fight using the Glacial Prison and basically all the sums to try and slow this Kaisa down. But with the amount of gold and the amount of items that have been built so far, it is just going to be so difficult. And really, he didn't have any follow-up. This Ezreal kind of a non-factor in this first game.
Yeah, the Redhawks trade the Dragon for the Baron. I wouldn't call that very worth in my opinion.
No, I would not, especially given what we're seeing on the map already. Ball State is so ahead in these towers, and really anything that Miami is kind of able to scrape back on the map is going to come at a huge price.
Yeah, Ball State also playing the macro of this game extremely well. Like you mentioned earlier, they're always finding another objective on the flip side of these fights, but they now have this Baron and can start pressuring all sides of this map in this game. So Ball State feeling really good in this position. They're sending 2 top. They have 2 in the mid lane while Peppy is just kind of floating around.
Yeah, using these Baron empowered cannons to just kind of hammer away at some of these platings. And platings, they do get less valuable the more of them that you get, but I don't think Ball State cares at this point. They've established dominion over Miami's jungle. They have forced them out. And now 4 members topside here are going to be posturing, looking pretty strong.
Top lane is the name of the game. Jazz Goblin going to find something onto WGFY, but the Cyclone in return after the missed Cataclysm. Bin stuck in a bad place, is going to be taken down. Alaplane also chunked. Heavy going down. Wombat Baby in a bad position. Solozak is here providing so much damage. Jazz Goblin, but we do see Alaplane get stunned up by the Sejuani. That is something that you want to see if you're a Red Hawk fan. Alaplane on the backside of the fight, trying to get out of there, picks up a kill as he goes down himself. X getting real low, but Egoist doesn't find the kill as Jazz Goblin flashes out of there. Pretty good fight from behind for the Red Hawks.
Yeah, I mean, a crucial overextension kind of greed there from Ball State, going past the tower, just trying to find more and more, maybe an opportunity to even try and end the game, but it is going to come at a cost. We do see the effective Wombo combo from the Wukong and the Orianna going to pick up 2 with that shockwave, and that was enough for Miami to kind of leverage that, and beautifully played by Egoist once again to land onto that Kaisa, make sure that she is not able to play these fights out in an easy manner. And Kaisa still, to her credit, able to pick up 1 more kill after popping that Seeker's Armboard, now fully transformed into the Zanyas. I believe that is everything needed for Kaisa to have all of her evolutions done at this point. So definitely going to be more of a nightmare. And that is going to kind of stop the Baron power play in its tracks. But still, Ball State all over the map. We see that Baron power play actually resulted in them losing about 1.5k gold on with that overextension. So huge for Miami, a bit of a momentum shift, but how can they use it?
Yeah, this Kaisa has a 5k gold advantage over Solozak's Ezreal, and that is 4 of the now 6 items, full items that Kaisa can build thanks to the lane quest. So Alaplane, I mean, still feeling really good in this game. Egoist on the top side of your screen, just chilling in the river a bit, floating down towards that mid lane near Solozak as he clears. But it looks like this next Drake might be the angle that both teams are looking. It's up in a minute 15.
And this next Drake, depending on the way the team fight goes, could be you know, uh, the nail in the coffin in a sense. If Miami is not careful, they're in a position where any kind of misstep could be disastrous. But it could also be another opportunity, you know, using that momentum shift that they got off the last play and trying to turn that into something more.
Yeah, the Cardinals just so oppressive in this game. They're so strong with that Kaisa that they can kind of just do whatever they want. Kaisa with the Zonias now has that extra insurance in these fights. So if X does find an angle with the Cyclone onto Alaplane, does have the Zonias to negate all of the follow-up that could be coming from the rest of the Red Hawks.
Yeah, really, it's just going to be kind of a waiting game, having them. I imagine he's going to try and get them to use all their utility. Hopefully, you know, they're measured. I imagine that they know they can't try and pop it all at once. Egoist kind of be the backup if maybe some of that initial stuff doesn't land, or vice versa. So really going to be up to Miami to kind of leverage their lockdown on that Kaisa, because again, that is going to be their kind of their window into being relevant is taking that champion down. But looks like a back going to have to be taken here early on, and the dragon going to be started up. Maybe Miami opting to give this one over, knowing that a potential botch team fight could spell disaster for them.
Yeah, I don't know if Miami had the angle to find anything there.
Baron?
So Wisely just backs up. Baron's not up for another
They
minute.
can't go Baron.
So they might be just establishing some vision if they can up there. But Alaplane, man, this guy is so fed.
Look at the challenger recall.
11, 2, and 2 in this game. That is a Kaisa that I do not want to be playing against in my own games, though I would never, because I am nowhere near challenger.
I don't know, man. With the LP changes, I think I see it. I see the potential in you. I think that you could be, you know, give it a couple days.
I'm glad you believe in me.
Yeah, give it a couple days. You know, it's definitely an angle there. They definitely don't let anyone into challenger nowadays, but I think that, you know, there is a shot for you.
I'm the GOAT. Just simply put, WGFY in the top lane, just clearing some minions, as we do see Miami's pulling out a little bit of a 1-3-1 just to push these waves out a little bit, as BSU it's kind of just roaming around as a 5 or a 4 stack, depending on what members they have up. We do see all 5 in the top side of the jungle here, just asserting their dominance, so that when this Baron is up in 16 seconds, that they can just turn their sights onto it, and Miami can't really contest.
Yeah, Ball State playing with just so much confidence, obviously warranted confidence with the lead that they've accrued.
And there's the engage. They snap onto Beans, but WGFY is the one where the Cataclysm goes. Meanwhile, on the top side of the screen, here comes Egoist with the Glacial Prison, finds it onto Ben, but doesn't have enough damage. Alaplane is getting taken down, or gets some damage taken in by the Shockwave, but it is just nothing that the Red Hawks can do. There's just so much damage from these Cardinals.
Almost caught out there. Solozak going to try and find some damage there in return. But yeah, the long fight just played well by Ball State, and knowing when to back off, knowing when to re-engage. A lot of stuff going wide there. Seemed a little uncoordinated from both sides. Mystic Shot going to get a little bit more value out of Solozak. So definitely not the worst fight I could have seen, but Ball State's still going to use that as an opportunity to pick up this Baron. And, you know, regardless, that might just be all they need. But we'll see. They did show that they were a little overzealous at times with these Barons, so Miami's still not out of it yet.
It was a great flank angle from Egoist, finding the Glacial Prison, onto Ben. Probably would have wanted to find that onto Alaplane instead, but Alaplane did get caught up in the Shockwave. However, not enough damage to just burst the Kaisa down just yet. But Kaisa building the Void Rod. Oh my gosh, dude, this Kaisa build's gross.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of damage that any ability is going to do at this point is just so it's nasty. And I mean Miami, if they're able to find an angle, she's probably taken one or two with her at this point. So yeah, again, it is really going to come down to the sequence that you push your buttons if you're gonna. But I think at this point you just kind of got to try do your best to catch LA playing by surprise and maybe react quicker than they would with the Zanyas. But that is definitely easier said than done.
The Cardinals have their sights here on this bot side, Tier 2. Egoist, X, and WGFY all here to defend, as Beans and Solozak also roam down, leaving Wombat Baby to push in that mid lane, and can also Weaver's Wall into the fight if need be. This is kind of what the macro play that this composition allows you to play here, while Solozak is stuck up there trying to defend that tower in the mid lane. Wombat Baby just can do whatever he wants. We do see the 4 members of the Redhawks stuck here under tower, trying to find something, but here comes the Weaver's Wall, trying to section off the team. Only seconds off X, but he is able to get out of there. But a Shockwave finds 3 of them. Jazz Goblin stuck under tower as X is trying to find some damage onto Aliplane. Knocks it up with the second part of the Cyclone, but Aliplane uses the Killer Instinct to go even farther in. WGFY taking low as they find a triple kill onto Karma. WGFY getting taken down as well after a Dredge line finds them. Solozak is the only remaining member of the Redhawks, but I think that might be the game, Devin. I'm not too sure, though.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, Aliplane just playing so patient in that fight, knowing the damage timers, knowing the windows that he can engage, use that Killer Instinct to reposition. And yeah, a beautiful Nautilus hook going to land as well. And that just kind of seals the deal for the Redhawks. They are going to fall 0-1 to Ball State in this first game.
Yeah, Solozak just trying to increase those damage charts a little bit. Might get taken down here all out. Does find an extra kill for the board, but unfortunately the Redhawks go down in this game 1. Ball State up 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like a slow creep at that point. Ball State just playing the map so well, and you know, you give an inch to Ball State, a team like Ball State, you give a mile. I mean, they're able to leverage any kind of small leads they get so effectively. So I think Miami really trying to, you know, bite off more than they can chew in some of those scenarios. Got to play it more measured, especially towards the bot lane. I think that is going to be kind of the name of the game because we saw what he could turn alley plan. I'm saying he like he's like Voldemort or something, but like he who shall not be named can just turn in a little lead into such you know, a canyon. So definitely I'd like to see a pivot from the Ezreal. Was not my favorite there. I mean, I think we kind of lost our identity in terms of
I think I would agree with you.
yeah, in the poke lane, the poke lane that we didn't really see manifest, unfortunately, on the side of Miami. Really liked what I saw from top lane jungle. I think that there was definitely, you know, it wasn't a stomp by any means. I think that it was back and forth for a long time there. But you know, a lot of what Ball State did was just have better discipline, knew their timings on the map, knew how to squeeze kind of every drop of gold they could from any of Miami's turrets, from the objectives, you know, invades on good timers, tower dives. I mean, it was just textbook. That is a team that is firing on all cylinders, and I think Miami, you know, admirable. They were able to last. They were able to, you know, bite back and punish the rare misplays from Ball State. But I think again, it really will have to start in the draft. I think that was a good draft, but I think maybe, yeah, I think it starts in the bot lane with that one.
Yeah, I mean, crucially too, this game wasn't a stomp at all. I mean, it
Yeah.
was a 32-minute game, kind of medium length game, but the Redhawks really did show some signs of life. They were punishing, they got onto Aliplane. Unfortunately, just like you mentioned, as soon as you give Aliplane a kill, he just kind of takes over the game. First blood turned that into like what, 13-2?
Yeah, it was gross.
Disgusting performance. But like you mentioned, I think I would have preferred to see a more traditional carry
Yeah.
from the side of the Redhawks. Ezreal is just one of those champions that is kind of difficult to position, especially with the Talia teams like this. And
tough.
it kind of, all your damage is a mystic shot.
Yeah, it
and
asks
then
a
all
lot
of a sudden
of
you can't do that.
Yeah, if you miss your Q, if I mean, and if you're just all you're able to do is just kind of ultimate every fight, and then you're just kind of there.
Yeah.
You kind of just are homeless as a pick. So yeah, I agree with you. I think maybe more of a traditional ADC where you can kind of be more impactful just by doing what you do best, just laying in autos. Because you know the theory was there. But just some small adjustments there for Miami, and I think they could be onto something big. But we will have game 2 for you very shortly. Hopefully, Miami can equalize and bring us to the fabled game 3. But we'll be right back.
And here we are for draft for game 2. We see the Azir being the first band from Miami, as it appears they have chosen the blue side once again.
And Ball State gonna opt for the Vi ban. Just more stuff to take out. They're probably pretty annoyed by that Sejuani, because we did see it start to impact the Kaisa in a way that was pretty meaningful in a lot of those team fights. It was a little bit hard for a period of time, despite the lead, to play this out effectively. So that Vi going to be taken off just to not have that be an issue once again.
Our producer is telling us that it is Miami. In fact, on red side, the names at the bottoms of the screen are just flipped around. So it is Miami banning out the Vi like they did last game, and Ball State banning out Mbessa as they did last game.
Okay, so disregard everything I just said.
Yes, disregard everything. Fresh restart.
So it looks like Miami going to be banning the Vi. And yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, going to make life easier for Solo Zach. And the Mundo going to catch the ban hammer as well. That was so fun to watch. I really liked that style of pick for X, but I really liked him on the Wukong. I admit, I think he played that last game pretty phenomenal. So we'll see. Ooh.
Miami hovering a lot of things for this last ban. I saw Lucian, I saw Ziggs, I saw Twitch. Kind of some unorthodox champions, and it is going to be the Lucian catching the ban here. I don't know if Alaplane plays a lot of Lucian.
He must, if they feel the need to take that one off the board. And the Varsity, that's going to be locked in by Ball State, I believe.
Yes,
Ball State.
That is going to Alaplane.
Huge takeaway, I'd imagine, because that was one of the picks that we've seen Solo Zach look really good on, really comfortable. One of his more stock standard picks. Egoist, taking some time to draft up a response here for the side of Miami. I'm going to see what they opt into. I think this first two picks are going to be really imperative. The Corki, another kind of safe response. I think a little bit easier to pilot in some instances than the Ezreal. And now more time to think about the jungler. Zyra going to be hovered, but the Leona would be a little bit more do it.
I wonder if Miami got a little bit stunned there by the Varus first pick, hoping that it would fall to them, because we do know that Solo Zach, does play a lot of that Varus. So I mean, the timer indicator maybe shows that they were planning on taking that and had to reevaluate things, but it is going to be the Nocturne. We do know that Orianna picked last game will not be able to be picked for that ball delivery system, but this is going to be the first Nocturne that we've seen from X, as we see Trundle being locked in for Ball State.
The troll. It's time to troll. And I feel like that's going to just be going jungle, but it could be a top lane, but it would be pretty early to flex that without any indication of what they're going to be against. Usually you lock that in when you're into something like a Scion, something that's going to stack a lot of health, armor, and resistances. And then the Rye is going to be locked in. So another champion for Ball State that is going to enable them to do these cheeky dives, these cheeky roams across the map. The Gwen, though, going to be making it through the draft and is locked in for Egoist. Really like that.
Oh,
Gives him more agency than something like a Sejuani that we saw last game. What do you think?
I mean, Gwen's just a really powerful champion right now, especially with Dusk and Dawn. I played my first Gwen game the other night.
It's not.
Quadra kill.
Yeah,
I just mashed my
you
keyboard.
don't even need to know. Like Gwen is like when I do play top lane nowadays, which is rarely. I'll usually play it when I just don't want to care,
Right.
because no matter what you do, you can go 0-4 on that champion, and then once you get to 3 items, it just doesn't
You just
matter.
take over the
Yeah,
game.
You just press your ult in a team fight, and then you just do things.
Now, the Gwen is usually something that does catch the ban, so I'm wondering if Ball State kind of had this in their game plan, allowing that Gwen to slide through. So, I mean, that Trundle could be flexed either top lane or jungle, but we do see the Rise locked in. Leona going to be the ban for Ball State, as Jax and Braum are the bans for Miami.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to have this in mind as Ball State. I think they probably did their homework.
Yeah.
And maybe have something in their back pocket that they're confident to lock into this, because that is a scary pick. That is definitely something that you don't want to give over without having them pay a little bit of a price. But we do see the Galio as well, kind of an AP. No, actually, it's pretty balanced. I don't know where I'm going with that, but the Gangplank being hovered here, a pick that with the crit changes, so kind of had a bit of a renaissance. We weren't seeing a ton of Gangplank, and now with the changes to crit, but hold on, a lot of different top laners being hovered over.
We're just cycling through all of them at this point. We did see the Singed last week. I don't think it was played by Ball State, but it was played by Kent State.
Darius
looks to be the pick. I do want to point out this Galio, however, was questioning the Nocturne. Galio makes everything make sense now.
Yeah, blind, the heroic entrance, it's coming, but you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
That has got to be something that is a little scary. I believe, though, you can see it on the ground, even if it's dark, but I'm not entirely sure.
I actually don't know if I've ever had to deal with that interaction before.
It is not something that is as typical in terms of the Nocturne, but it is. I mean, I can see it. I can see, obviously, the follow-up that the Galio can provide. The Rel going to be locked in towards the bot lane. Peppy looking really good on these engaged style supports. Kind of put on a masterclass with that Nautilus. So we'll see what the final lock-in is here for Beans in response. Right now,
it's the Janna.
Okay, so was played into the Rel last time.
It was played against Rel Oriana, which provided a lot of value against the Shockwave and the Crashdown / Magnet Storm.
Into the Darius too. I love it. Like, just
actually, yeah.
I think it fits so well just to prevent kind of the dog pile that we might see from the side of Ball State, just because you see that corrupting chains. I think that's the name of it.
Yeah, Chains of Corruption.
Chains of Corruption. Okay, got it backwards. But that's going to be their go button with the Rel, and then to use that Hurricane, or it's Hurricane, right?
The ultimate.
Yeah,
it's like Eye of the Storm or Hurricane or something like that.
I don't know.
Janna R.
Something. Yeah, Janna Ultimate is a phenomenal disengage. Going to keep Corki a little bit safer. And yeah, I mean, I think Miami's comp is really well rounded. I think the Janna pick kind of ties it all up with a nice little bow on top. But again, we've seen what Ball State is capable of. They say, we don't care what champions are locked in. We are just going to hands check you. So we'll see. I think, again, the name of the game is making sure that Aliplane is not able to build up any lead. If at the very least you want him to go even, because I mean, this guy is still a threat no matter what the game state is, but giving him 3 kills is not going to be a recipe for success.
Yeah, I think this Gwen pick too, if I'm not mistaken, does have a favorable matchup into Darius. At least that's what I hear from a resident Gwen analyst, Mr. Adam Karma Edwards. I get screenshots from his games all the time from Gwen.
But that guy's pretty questionable. We saw him on cast last week. He's a little bit he's new. He's new around here.
That guy knows Gwen, though, let me tell you. But I do think that if Egoist doesn't get taken down here early on into this game from the stacks from Darius, I mean, Darius has a super strong level 1, that could set Egoist up for a really good game here. I'm looking at the Trundle won't get a lot of value from the ultimate unless it's used on WGFY's Galio, the Subjugate, that steals the armor and the magic resist. So the Trundle pick's a little off-putting to
It
me.
was locked in very early on.
It was
which is
their second pick.
not necessarily something that you want to see, just because it usually is a really good response pick. Is good into the jungle is a pick that I am quite fond of. I think that the pillar can be used in a lot of different creative ways. But yeah, it really is going to depend here if they can get the full use out of that. Like you said, it really only is one good target for that subjugate. And with the Gwen sprinting at you, it is definitely going to be something to keep in mind. So yeah, I mean, both teams, I like the draft. I really like Miami coming out swinging, trying something more bold. And putting Ego West on a carry champ, I really like. I think he looked so good last game. He clearly is feeling it tonight.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited to see what he can do with this Gwen that he has been given.
Well, if it's anything like last game, bot side is the name of the game. We'll find out what both teams decide to do as they hop onto the Rift in just a moment. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And we are back on the Rift for Game 2 between Ball State and Miami, but things are heating up as 3 members of the Cardinals are invading this Nocturne. Nocturne usually starts on the Raptors. Everybody knows that. So they're going to put a ward there in that pit, spot him out early in this game. I think that X has no choice but to hop on that before it goes down. So Ball State getting a nice little ward down here gives them a little bit of advantage early in this game.
Is that the Darius skin, the really cool one? I feel like it is. I forget the name of it, but it's new, and it's a legendary. We don't see Gundam Galio, though. I really like that. I'm a skin connoisseur. What can I say? It gives me something to talk about.
We do see Jazz Goblin getting some damage onto Egoist. Our resident Gwen enthusiast, Adam Carmen Edwards, did tell us that Gwen and Darius is a pretty iffy matchup, but until 6, Darius is a little bit favored, but after that, Gwen can hard win.
That's what I would have thought. I mean, I feel like any champion into Darius pre-6 is just going to be so tough. He's so difficult.
In the mid lane, WGFY is taken really low. Wombat Babies does have health.
He's level 1.
WGFY running behind tower. I wonder if Wombat Baby got a nice little cheeky level 2 spike to get a favorable trade there. And we do see that bot lane still level 1. The Redhawks hit 2 first, but they are not in a lane state to really do anything with that. And there is X spotted out on the ward in the Raptors.
Yeah, WGFY is going to suffer a little bit in this lane until he starts to get more of the resistances online. But, playing it slow, playing it safe. But hold on.
WGFY getting really aggressive with Wombat Baby. Does find the taunt, but will run away with the Fleet Footwork proc. Is taken low off the back end with Wombat Baby's Q. Wombat Baby flashing forward, will find the root and does find first blood onto WGFY.
Yeah, can't be that aggressive this early on into the rise. Can definitely punish you. Egoist may be looking for more of a trade himself onto the Darius. Got to be careful, though.
Ego is doing a lot of damage to Jazz Goblin, but does have the fully stacked Conqueror. Jazz Goblin getting really low and will go down to Egoist. Egoist surviving with the hemorrhage stacks, but doesn't. A trade in the top lane, a little bit unfortunate, but good signs of life there from Egoist.
But is it, though? He loses that entire wave.
He does lose
Jazz
the wave.
Goblin up like double his CS right now, so that is a really bad timer to die on. Granted, Gwen getting a kill early is going to be always something that you're pretty happy about, but that solo kill mid in conjunction with what just happened top lane, I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous.
Yeah, Darius did use the flash and the ghost there, while Ego is only using the ignite, so does have a little bit of a summoner advantage there. But like you mentioned, does lose a huge wave, is a little bit behind in terms of gold. But just taking a look at runes so far, we've seen a couple go off already, but Fleet Footwork for both of the mid laners, pretty standard. I'm not really seeing anything crazy overall here.
Yeah, I think the runes are, probably going to be pretty stock standard. We had like those electrocutes that we saw, week 1, but now we're calming down a little bit in terms of some of the choices. So yeah, hold on, more action mid lane though.
Yeah, Wombat Baby taken down to about a third of his health. Alloplane does have the Arcane Comet, so is mostly going for this poke, maybe lethality kind of build. But both top laners and both jungles here around this scuttle. X going to try to take it, does have the smite to secure it. Now Egos has a favorable lane advantage. WGFY is here to support as well, but they're going to turn their sights onto Ben, who is able to just trundle away.
Yeah, Ben wanting no part of that, knowing that they do have don't have the first roam from the mid laner. Ego is going to finish pushing this wave in. Yeah, Jazz Goblin kind of be a threat for a good portion of this game, looking to use that early advantage that he has in terms of just the nature of the champion that he's playing to kind of zone Egoist off this wave, try and get as much as he can. But that is Egoist getting closer and closer to that level 6 power spike, making this matchup a little bit more even for the Gwen. Ignite coming back as well. Got to be careful to make sure to trade when that is available into this Darius. He can heal so much so quickly by laning that Q. Solo Zach going to try and pick up this wave here. Missing a couple of the minions. A bit of a CS gap in many of the lanes outside of jungle. Ball State really just doing a good job in these laning phases to just stay ahead and just regardless of the absence of the same amount of action that we saw last time.
Solozak just taking some damage. Did eat a piercing arrow a little bit earlier. Takes a volley of arrows and an auto and another piercing arrow. Doesn't go down. Did have the barrier if needed, but Solozak tempting fate a little bit here.
Yeah, playing with fire there, and you just can't give Alleyplane any kind of ground. Jazz Goblin still looking to be sitting pretty towards this top side and just slowly pushing these waves and zoning Egoist off as much as he possibly can, and probably going to pick up some of that crystallized overgrowth on the plating, and an early dragon again going to the hands of Ball State.
Yeah, Egoist did just hit 6 although he lost a bunch of minions, lost the gold from a lot of them.
1
Ooh,
HP.
Ben, 1 HP, misses that dragon just a little bit. Egoist is now 6, but crucially stayed within EXP range for a lot of the minions that he missed in terms of gold.
But
so
still down 20.
Yeah, still down 20 CS, about 300, 400 gold, but they're just trading. We do see that Egoist has so much damage, and even with the ultimate, Jazz Goblin isn't able to get Egoist below 1/3. That's the level 6 advantage we were talking about.
Exactly, and the amount of healing that Gwen can get with her passive and with her ultimate is just absurd, really. And yeah, Darius, with that stacked up hemorrhage, just with the true damage, just wasn't enough to get even close to the damage threshold that he needed for the execute. And yeah, Ego is going to start running this lane. So if I'm Miami, I want to slow things down. I want to let the Gwen be the decision maker in this game, be the alpha, and really just play around that Gwen to scale, not give anything more around the map, and just play it slow.
Yeah, Egoist just leveling out that advantage that Jazz Goblin had. They are now within 100 gold of each other. Ball State does know where X is. X did just run across that mid lane while Wombat Baby was in vision range, but here goes Peppy. Peppy looking for something. Miami does have X with them. The Nocturne. Peppy getting slowed by Beans. Beans getting some nice poke into here. Looking at the other lanes, nothing really going on. So Zach taking a little bit of poke. Man, things it's a nice edge here on the bot side of the rift.
Yeah, alley playing can play so far back going to be canceled from X. Not really a huge opportunity to find a gank. Obviously, I feel like Peppy not in a great state to go in. X going to show himself and just help get that wave shoved in, but is going to lose a lot of tempo around the map. I think we did see an invade. Trundle just making it at home in his top side.
Good call out there. Yes, Trundle did invade the top side of the jungle, is going to wrap around. Maybe they'll go for a dive here onto Egoist. Egoist maybe has the ultimate up. I can't really tell from here. It does look like it is, so has that in his bag of tricks if needed. Nocturne also does have the paranoia now, so can hop in if needed to. Wombat Baby and Bin are going to turn their sights onto these grubs and will take them as X invades the Raptors, but spotted out by Pippi. Did Pippi grab that?
He did. He got that with the Shattering Strike, and that is for those.
On the top side of your tower, Jazz Goblin uses both summoners again as Egoist is taken down really low, and Jazz Goblin gets the kill this time around.
Now, or maybe a fight for the last grub here. Looks like Miami gonna zone Bin off of that one, but that is a solo kill. Crucially going the other way to Ball State, now up to 2k gold. Solzak in a rough spot as well.
Solzak also getting caught out. Peppy uses the Magnastorm onto one. The kill going over to the Rel.
But look how quickly he was just evaporated off the screen. I don't know how he got to a point where he was so far up without Beans in the area to get caught like that. You definitely don't want to see that after, and then just kind of like Dominoes for Miami, one disastrous play after another.
But WGFY and Beans trying to find something in return onto Wombat Baby, but they just don't have the damage with the tank and an Enchantress.
Yeah, the Catalyst going to be built right now. He's just so incredibly tanky. And Miami not really finding any avenues to respond. So many good plays from Ball State all across the map. And crucially, we said the Gwen just starting to find her groove is going to be cut off there. And now Darius back in the driver's seat.
I don't know if Solozak's paying enough respect over to Aliplane in this game. I mean, that Corki was pushed up so far as we get another skirmish breaking out here in the top lane. But, I mean, that burst with the Chains of Corruption into a piercing arrow just does so much damage, and that's why Corki evaporated.
Yeah, it's kind of illegal for Solozak to be that far up in a 1v2 scenario. I mean, he has the missiles. He has the ability to farm.
Peppy's here alone as there's a TP on that tower. Solozak and Beans putting some damage into Peppy, but Aliplane is back here. Solozak getting real low, does use the Valkyrie to get out as Beans uses a Tornado just to dissuade them from approaching any further. Bin around in the bot lane as well as X, but a piercing arrow finding Solozak, the American sniper in the bot lane.
Beans knows that was another overstay by Solozak, not respecting. Look at, I mean, he already has Youmu's built. It gives him so much lethality, so much AD early on, and he's just able to pop that Corki like a balloon. And yeah, another instance of Solozak really not respecting the damage that Aliplane has at this state, and then just increasing the lead that BSU is playing with.
Yeah, and early Youmu's Ghost Blade provides so much lethality and so much more damage for that Varus, but WGFY cut out, forced to flash as the Paranoia gets laid down as well. Everybody is nearsighted on the map. Egoist getting taken down real low. The ultimate from Darius coming out, not finding the kill. Egoist taking down from the Heavy Stacks, does flash in and doesn't get the kill. Jazz Goblin gets it in return. That is another kill for this Darius.
Yeah, no, Miami just kind of throwing everything at the wall at this point, and nothing is sticking. BLG Bin going to pick up another Dragon, the second of Ball States for the game. And if this kind of keeps continuing to happen, it just seems like a chain reaction. Miami makes one poor play on one side of the map, and then in return it happens again. And it's just going to be harder and harder. This could be quick
As they're looking for a dive, the Magnet Storm finding two under the tower with the Chains of Corruption coming out, but that is so much burst from Aliplane. The heroic entrance trying to save Solozak, but doesn't. Aliplane just does so much damage at this point of the game. There are 4 members of the Cardinals here chasing down WGFY now. Peppy trying to get the stun, finds the Shattering Strike as Wombat Baby gets taken real low from the tower. Doesn't go down just yet, but WGFY still around 1/3 HP as Aliplane, Peppy, and Finn are still in the area.
The backs do.
Yeah, I don't think WGFY is not stepping up any further, so all those members of the Cardinals will just back out of there. Egos just collects that lane in the top side.
Yeah, the heroic entrance quickly turned into a heroic let's get the heck out of there. Really kind of an attempt to try and salvage the play, but a beautiful dive by Peppy, just perfectly playing the rail, hitting all of the combos. It was just like within the blink of the eye, the amount of CC that was able to be laid down. Perfect lineup for the arrow to hit both of the targets for Varus, and the Grievous Wounds going to be landing, so going to negate a lot of the healing that would come from the Typhoon, isn't it?
Monsoon, the ultimate Monsoon.
Okay,
we looked it up in the break, learning that it was Monsoon, not Hurricane. But WGFY getting a little chippy here in the mid lane. I do want to point out too that both junglers in this game, 10 minutes kills total, but both junglers kind of quiet. And as I say that, Bin's here in the mid lane paying a visit to WGFY and will get taken down by Wombat Baby. There's an assist on the board for one of the junglers in this game.
Yeah, and really no good news to be had for Miami across this map. If last game was close, this game is looking like it might not even be in the realm of possibility, unless Ball State makes one of those, ego misplays that they had a couple instances of last game. But right now, I mean, it just looks so easy for them to snowball the lead that they have, already up 5.5k gold, and it's in all the right places. This Gwen kind of becoming quickly a non-factor. Darius able to establish dominions once again over the lane, and yeah, she will be able to get her items online, but look at the discrepancy in gold across nearly every lane. The only lane that is, like you mentioned, kind of even is the junglers. Pretty quiet over in that side, but I mean, it's just so hard for there's no Wukong in this game, or as more of a symbol that is kind of a member that you can play through in a sense.
They're looking for another dive onto these bot laners. The Magnet Storm is up. There goes the Paranoia trying to find Aliplane, but Aliplane flashes over the wall with the Chains of Corruption in return. Pierces Arrow X down so low, but being forced to flash out, as well as Wombat Baby is in the backline of the Redhawks. WGFY trying to salvage everything he can, but X forced to run into enemy territory. Now he's back under tower, but Aliplane still wandering around in the area. Does have the piercing arrow if needed to be used.
I wonder if he has a spell shield, but it looks like they're just going to dive him anyway.
They're looking for the re-engaged X with the great spell shield. Won't take any damage from the arrow. Been taken low from the tower. Aliplane not finding anything,
Corky.
But we did see that Wombat Baby blew up Corky there.
Could go to low adventure with the camera.
X still low, is going to get the recall off. I mean, great spell shield from X there last second, not taking any damage from that last piercing arrow, but an unfortunate fight overall for the Redhawks. Cardinals are just playing this one really well.
Yeah, and it seems like that was the least bad that it could have possibly gone. I mean, X getting out by the skin of his teeth in that fight. And yeah, I mean, like I said, there's really no bright spots to look towards on this map. Egoist trying to desperately to get some semblance of control back in this lane, but really can only just kind of sit and farm waves while his team gets wiped towards the bot side. And it is not a pretty picture if you're a Redhawks fan.
Yeah, usually you want to use a pick like Nocturne to really get aggressive and to force some early kills with the Paranoia. I mean, Nocturne also just has really high base damages. But 0-0 and 0 at 15 minutes, having to use the Paranoias defensively, this just isn't what I want to see from this Nocturne pick in this game.
Yeah, no scuffles really outside of top lane. It really just has Miami, Miami getting the business from Ball State. And yeah, it just looks like they kind of have just perfected the formula in terms of how to play around the map, look for good timings for fights. And Miami just doesn't really have a response. I was really optimistic when I saw the draft. I thought that they could, utilize a lot of these picks to clean up a lot of what we saw from the mistakes of last game. But now
Realm Warp in onto Solozak. Solozak can't go anywhere. The Heroic Justice trying to buy some time, but a Magnet Storm finds 3 members of the Redhawks. Meanwhile, we see X on the backline trying to go in onto Aliplane, but X is taken down low in return. WGFY taken down from Ben, and that is going to be 3 kills for the members of the Cardinals. The Egoist is here a little bit too late, trying to find something in return, but doesn't. That is an ace for the Cardinals.
And we're flying back top lane, as Darius just says, I don't even care that you're TPing. I know that you're there way too late. And now Peppy and the rest of BSU gonna push, gonna get first tower, I imagine, in the top lane. Is that no? First tower was already taken a long time ago in the bot lane. What am I saying? They're hitting an inner. But this game has got me totally out of whack with my senses here. That's the only explanation I could say for that. But I mean, wow, it just looks like an absolute stomp at this point. That was an ace at 16 minutes. And 2 inners going to already be on the menu for Ball State. Another Drake going to be taken, putting them on Soul Point. That is Cloud Soul. Darius gets his hands on that one. That is a nightmare running towards you.
It is an 11K gold lead for the Cardinals just 17 minutes into this game, and they are running away. Man, the Cardinals, they want to close this one out soon.
Yeah, maybe it kind of looked like after the first game, I was really hoping for a roaring response back from Miami, but it looks like maybe they just didn't have much left in the tank at that point in time. And now it just kind of feels like Ball State trying to wrap this one up. And we'll see if Miami can find some signs of life, but it looks like they are just so zoned off of any avenues to try and contest anything on this map. And Rift Herald hasn't even been taken yet, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, second item coming in for the Varsity will be the Serpent's Fang. Just a little bit, a really gold efficient item, gives some lethality, so these piercing arrows are going to be doing a lot more. We already saw Solozak getting chunked out pretty heftily by them.
Yeah, Janna going to be almost a non-factor at this point with the Grievous combined with that Serpent's Fang. Just a great pick into her to kind of just eliminate her presence from the game if it wasn't the case already. And the other thing is, I imagine that Ball State is going to use this Herald a little bit more effectively than what we saw last game in terms of the usage. But Egoist here still managing to catch.
Oh, we got a fight breaking out in the mid lane. The Heroic Entrance going to try to break up the fight, but there are just so many Cardinal members there that are collapsing down. X using the Paranoia to go in, does get a kill onto Darius, but the Cardinals pick one up in return. Solozak just left there alone. Egoist coming there. You see him on the top side of your screen playing around with that blast cone, but we'll just run into the base. The Cardinals are sprinting this one to the Nexus.
Yeah, we saw Egoist, hold on, maybe trying to defend his tower with his life.
Egoist trying to deal some damage, but the Trundle Pillar just displaces him, and the Cardinals pick up another. It is 20-3 in terms of the kills. I don't know if the Redhawks can come back right now.
Yeah, looking like a really rough night for some of the members of the Redhawks, just not finding their groove or their element in this game. Granted, I think I would do far worse into a Challenger 80 carry.
I would too.
Yeah, this guy is a monster, so he can make anyone, seem to struggle on the Rift. So no shame there. Obviously, again, we're still early into the season, so Miami. Oh, frog.
Oh, hello, Grump.
Oh, look at him.
Oh, we love the Grump.
He's getting
around
bisected.
Here.
But yes, anyway, I think Miami, again, is just kind of a futile effort at this point. The individual leads being accumulated 4K on the nearly 5K towards Ali Plane at this point, and now just waiting to take the Baron to be able to seal the deal on this one. MU only having taken 1 tower plate this entire game, and it just seems like, I mean, the gold lead could be worse.
This is what I wish my stock portfolio looked like.
Yeah,
just growing gradually over time with those nice spikes in the center.
My Roth IRA here. Look at that. It's great. The housing market, it's booming. No, it's not. But
the rich are getting richer here on the Rift is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm seeing some smart investments paying off. And now Aliplane going to take his 401k and move it towards the top lane. And that might just be curtains for Miami. A valiant last stand shaping up for these last few minutes of the game, and we'll see if Egoist, if one of these members of Miami can make a hero play. But I'm looking at these KDs, only 3 kills total for Miami throughout the course of this game, and this just looks like a complete collapse here in the second game.
Yeah, Wombat Baby on this rise has been doing a lot of work as well. 7-0-6, but we do see a Paranoia. They find one member of the Cardinals caught out. Jazz Goblin is going to go down, but they use so many resources as the Cardinals take the top lane turret.
They don't take the inhibitor though, so they decide to back off, knowing they no longer have the numbers advantage. Smartly played there from Miami. May have spoken a little bit too soon, as they find an angle on to crucially the top laner. So that will be the Baron push, stalled out a little bit in the meantime. Now Ball State trying to get back on the map, get ready for this Drake spawning in 30 seconds. And Jazz Goblin should be there in time. Maybe Miami giving themselves a little bit of a window to contest this. Baron still up on 4 of the members, though.
Yeah, but as I was saying, Wombat Baby on this rise, 7-0-6, has been putting in so much work for the Cardinals. You've seen some of those Realm Warps as engages as the Shattering Strike lands onto X. The Magnet Storm with the follow-up. Wombat Baby is there. Doesn't have enough damage as X is able to walk out of that. Has to use the Flash, but they are going to turn their sights onto this Cloud Drake. But those Realm Warps from Wombat Baby have been so crucial on some of these dives. I mean, you saw it in the bot lane earlier with that skirmish, that after Rel uses the Magnet Storm, they can just Realm Warp 3 members from half the map away into those fights.
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like Quokka hasn't left, at least in spirit. Peppy, this guy is insane. The way he's been playing a lot of these engages is just, I mean, granted, it's not hard to look good at this point, but throughout the entire game, throughout the entirety of last game, Gromp.
No, not the Gromp.
He just looks so poised on these engaged champions, making it so easy for Alleyplane, for the rest of his team, to play these team fights out in such comfort with these massive engages.
Beans chunked about half by just one piercing arrow, but as you're kind of mentioning about Quokka over here, it's like the Sith rule of 2. As one leaves, one gets stronger. There can only be 2. And Peppy has definitely taken some lessons from Quokka, as we do see all members on the map, minus Ego is posturing here around. Ego is just free firing here.
He's got payphone on. He's like, I'm not looking at my base. You know, I am going to ignore. La 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 la. Can't hear what I can't see doesn't hurt me. But he does hear in his ear, red turret destroyed. As now Jazz Goblin going for the jugular, and Miami trying their best to try and thin out these waves. Baron buff crucially no longer a factor.
Paranoia coming out. This looks like it'll be the final stand. X is going to engage upon Alleyplane, but gets out of there with so much speed. Meanwhile, the re-engage comes out from Rel. And man, the Cardinals, the Redhawks are just getting absolutely decimated by the Cardinals here. Peppy didn't even go down, lives with about 1 HP. Solo Zach, that is going to clean ace for the Cardinals to end this game. And a tough night for the Redhawks.
Look at the lone minion. They're going to try and body block, but there is super minion spilling into the base. So sorry to interrupt you there, but it looks like that will be all she wrote.
Oh, rip
for
Peppy.
MU. Yeah, Peppy going to fall. Finally, first death of the game for that Rel, but a statement win by Ball State, making moves here on the Rift and the Realm Warp into the Fountain.
Ball State moves up, gets another win, or another check in the win column, as the Redhawks get one in the loss column, unfortunately.
Hey, but if there's going to be a team to ever lose to,
it's Ball State. It's Ball State.
I mean, these people, they continually, year over year, ever since I've been a part of this program, they have been a force. So, I mean, kudos to them. They may have a speed with the Lotto tonight as well. Unfortunately, we may have dropped the ball on that one, admittedly. But I mean, still, I think Miami, a lot of data that we can derive from that. I think definitely a VOD review angle in terms of some of the, I mean, there was a level of things that I think we've seen the Corky pick work in the past. That's one thing that I'm not as, but it was, I mean, so many moments where I felt like, especially towards the bot lane, that we greeted a lot. Gwen, while it looked optimistic,
couple of greed moments. I mean, that flash on the top when you're only like 100 HP. That was optimistic.
Man. Yeah. You're not at the point in the game where you are just unleashed at that point. And yeah, I mean, it just looked like, I mean, at a certain point, I think Miami, especially the first game, was able to respond a lot more effectively, and it didn't look like it looked like there were ways that they could still find a way or find avenues to be impactful. But I mean, that second game, unfortunately, folks, there's really not much we can say about it. It just, they got outplayed. And that might seem like an oversimplification. I think there are definitely things that are evident, especially just, I think, generally with discipline. I think making sure to be a bit more measured, especially given your opponents. You've done the scouting, you have all the info, you know what these players are capable of. So not making their job any easier to push the envelope in these games. But I just think obviously going to be a rough one. But again, we have to put things into context.
Yes.
This is the reigning champions,
undefeated.
Yeah, undefeated. And just truly a monster of a program. So kudos to Ball State, and we'll be looking forward to meeting you up again when we're gonna get stronger.
We will. Feel it. We're gonna have our anime training montage here in just a little bit, but GG's to Ball State. However, we do have some upcoming matches next week as well. On Monday, the Redhawks are taking on the University at Buffalo.
University. I heard they're up and coming too,
Yes, so Buffalo has a great program with what they're doing as well.
Historically, actually, our rivals, believe it or not.
Yes, historically, our rivals. Last year, unfortunately, I don't think we got to play them.
I don't think they had a team last year.
Yes, but this year, rumors are circulating that they're pretty strong. And that's going to be at Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Wednesday, one of my personal favorite teams, the Redhawks are going to be taking on the Eastern Michigan University Eagles.
Their logo is an eagle?
It's an eagle, but their logo is a big E, but they're called the Eagles. It'll be the battle of the swoops. We have Swoop the Redhawk. They have Swoop the Eagle.
I feel like we did it first.
We probably did, but that's a match that you don't want to miss.
Yeah, definitely tune in for both those matches. Miami going through the gauntlet. These, like we said, these teams, everyone getting stronger. So Miami is going to have to respond in turn. Make sure you stick around, follow the journey, the training arc, and make sure to follow Redhawks UG. Any updates, anything there to stay in the loop. And I've been Devin TheDoc O'Connor.
And I've been Isaac Rhythm Arredondo. And we hope that you have a great night. Thanks for tuning in.